Good morning. This is going to be a gentle morning yoga practice. We'll start laying down and we'll move through some mindfulness. We'll move through some gentle movements, some breathing, some stretching, all to help you slowly wake up in the morning. So you can get on a yoga mat. If you have a yoga mat, you can just lay down on the floor next to your bed if that's the easiest place to get to. If you're having a hard time waking up, you might even start your practice in your bed and then move to the floor when you're ready. So we'll start laying down. I have a little cushion here to support underneath my head, and I might use it to sit on later. I also have my little kitty helper who may or may not be helpful over the course of this practice. We'll see what happens. So come to lay down. And make sure your body feels pretty neutral and supported. So maybe having that pillow underneath your head, maybe having the knees bent. You might like to have your legs stretched out long. Your hands might rest on your body like I'm choosing to do, or you might have your hands resting down by your sides. And begin here by consciously bringing awareness into your body. Feel into your body all the way from your head to your feet. Feeling where your body is supported and allowing yourself to settle into that support. We'll wake up gradually when we're ready. But for now, give yourself permission to stay in a state of rest. And then start to bring awareness into your breath. Feeling the breath flowing in and out of the body. No need to control it just yet. Right now, we're just noticing. And most people, when they are lying on their back, the breath most naturally will kind of go into the belly. So you might feel your belly gently rising and falling. You may even rest your hands there just to feel that gentle movement. But then as we begin to awaken with the breath, we'll start to invite the breath to go up a little bit higher into the body. So as you inhale, expanding more into your rib cage, into the sides of your ribs, maybe even into the back of your ribs. And then letting that out a little bit slower as you exhale. So inhales are slowly going to start to expand up into the ribs. And exhales are going to be released nice and slow. And first thing in the morning, there might be a little bit of tension, a little bit of hesitation or resistance in the breath. Just breathe right up to that comfortable edge and then release the air. And eventually, as your body warms up and transitions from its state of rest, it'll become easier to breathe. So there's no need to force it. And you might notice as you slow your breath, you kind of naturally restrict or constrict the throat just a little bit. It almost feels like the feeling when you're sucking through a straw or fogging up a mirror. And it makes kind of a gentle swishing sound inside your head. So just allow that to happen. With this practice, we're not going to do anything too forceful. There are yoga practices where we are more intentional about making that sound. But for this morning, we're just going to use it as a gentle reminder to stay present with the breath in a gentle way to help with slow, intentional breath. Now we're going to begin some movement with our arms. So go ahead and make sure you have some space above you and remove anything that you might have from underneath your head. So you might need to scoot down in your space a little bit so that you have plenty of room to open your arms. And I like to bend my elbows a little bit. You can do a nice big extension if you've got the space for that. So start with your hands down by your sides, and you can close your eyes or you can find a neutral gaze up at the ceiling. And then with your next inhale, allow your arms to lift up. And for the first breath, they may not go all the way, or they might go all the way. And as you exhale, allow your hands to slowly relax down by your sides. And continue like that. Inhale, lifting, taking the arms wide enough so that the elbows and all 10 fingernails can rest on the ground. And then exhaling, palms all the way back down to the ground. Or, however many fingernails you happen to have. As you inhale, allowing the whole arm to come all the way to rest. And then with the exhale, allowing the arms to come back down by the sides. And then check in here and make sure that it's the breath guiding the movement. So the inhale starts and then the arms lift. The exhale starts and then the arms lower. A few more just like this. Noticing what you feel in the chest, in the shoulders, in the arms. Noticing what you feel in the breath. Maybe one more breath like this. Letting your arms rest when you're ready. Breathing, noticing. And then carefully lift your feet, draw your knees in a little bit closer to your body, resting your hands on your knees. And we're going to move the knees in and out in a gentle movement called Apanasana. So as you inhale, let your elbows straighten and the knees come away from the body. And as you exhale, draw your knees in closer, bending your elbows. Inhale to extend, knees coming a few inches away, and then exhaling to bend, knees coming in a little bit closer. Again, the inhale starts and then the movement. And then the exhale starts and then the movement follows. This movement is known as Apanasana because the Apana region of the body is this kind of lower part of the body. And the Apana Vayu is the kind of cleansing path of energy or the downward movement of energy. This movement here works on the Apana region of the body to help with digestion, to help with elimination. So if you haven't eliminated yet this morning, this might start to create a little pressure. You might pause here, go ahead and go to the bathroom, and then come back and resume. But after you have eliminated, this can help with kind of waking up the digestive system to help start the day. But go ahead and take maybe one or two more breaths like this. And then with your last exhale, hug the knees in close. Maybe wrap your arms a little further around the legs. Maybe even curl up in a little ball if that feels nice. To help stretch through the back, you might even do a little rock side to side. Relax through the neck and shoulders. And then gently release down, releasing the arms down by the sides, but keeping the knees bent in. Unless you'd like to take a moment, maybe let the legs relax, take a little bit of movement, a little bit of stretch. We're going to start to be a little bit more active with our movement, with our breath. So we're going to, on the inhale, reach up through the heels, straightening the legs any amount. So as you start warming up, your knees might not straighten all the way. And as you exhale, bend your knees, allowing your feet to relax back down. Inhale and then lift up through the feet. Exhale and then bend the knees. Inhaling, expanding into the ribs. And as you exhale, draw in through the low belly, using gentle activation through the core to help bend your knees in. And you might even, on your exhales, kind of squeeze the thighs in towards each other, even if they're not quite touching. And then with this, if you like, you can add in our arm movement that we were doing earlier. So as you inhale, the feet lift, the arms lift and open. And as you exhale, you draw everything in, drawing the arms back down, drawing the knees in, drawing the navel in, and continue like that. Another movement here to warm up through the core, to start to kindle what we call the digestive fire. So really waking your body up from the inside out, but then also, of course, warming up through the legs, through the low back here. 2 more breaths like this. And then again, maybe hug the knees in if that feels nice. Maybe take a moment to stretch the legs out or lower the feet and let the knees gently rock side to side. And then take a moment to pause and breathe, letting your legs rest wherever they are comfortable. Noticing if you are feeling any changes in the body. Hopefully a little bit more warmth. Hopefully maybe feeling a little bit of energy. Taking some nice big full breath. And when you're ready, carefully make your way to your hands and knees. So you might roll to one side, use your hands to help press you up, and then make your way around to a nice tabletop position. So coming with your wrists about underneath your shoulders, your knees about underneath your hips. And we're going to do some nice spinal movement here, cat and cow. So as you inhale, lift up through the tailbone, reach the heart forward, lift the head up and back. And as you exhale, curl in, rounding the back, tucking the chin, tucking the tail. And continue breathing like that. Inhale, lifting, arching through the back. Exhale, rounding, moving in the opposite direction. And see if you can, again, move with your breath, move from your core. Inhale starts, and then the movement is an extension of that inhale. Exhale starts, and then the movement is an extension of that exhale. Gently moving through the shoulders, through the hips. At least 2 more breaths like this, please. And then come back to your neutral starting position. And we're going to do something similar, but moving side to side now. So inhale here in the middle. And as you exhale, move one shoulder and one hip towards each other and tilt your head to that side. And then inhale to the center. Exhale, opposite shoulder and hip towards each other, tilting your head to the side. It's almost like you're trying to make a crescent shape or a C shape with your spine in either direction on your exhale. So inhale helps you to lengthen. Exhale helps you to bend to the side, opening up through one side of your body and gently activating through the other side. So using the activation through the side body to help lengthen the opposite side. So it might even be helpful to think about as you're drawing one shoulder and hip towards each other, you're stretching the other hip and shoulder away from each other. Let's do at least one more to each side. And then come back to neutral. And carefully lower down onto your belly. And I know I need to scoot back, so I have plenty of space. I like to make sure that my face ends up on my mat. So come to face down, starting by resting your hands underneath your head. Tops of the feet resting on the mat, and you might kind of shift the hips a little bit side to side to get more comfortable here. And then take some nice full breaths. We're going to be doing a little bit of back bending here, and even just laying face down for most bodies is a very slight back bend. So resting here and breathing here for a moment is going to help us warm up for our next movements. And so we're going to be doing some variations on cobra pose here. So first thing to do is to scoot your hands back to a comfortable distance. So you don't do it yet, but you might just kind of look and see. This is kind of where we're going is here. And so if this is hard on your shoulders, you're always welcome to take your hands wider, even kind of rest on your fingertips. So you adjust and do what's best for your body. But start with your forehead on the mat, tops of the feet pressing into the mat, elbows reach back, shoulder blades slide down on the back. And then press down into your feet, activate your thighs, almost like you could lift your knees up off the ground. And then with an inhale, think about stretching your chest forward and lifting up off the floor. And then as you exhale, lower down and turn your head to one side. Inhale and lift, looking down just in front of your fingers. And then exhale and lower, turning your head the other way. And continue like this. Inhale, lifting, turning the head down. Exhale, lowering, turning the head to the side. The whole body moving together. So your feet reach back and press down to help you lift, and they stay strong to help you lower. You're supporting through the core so that the whole spine works together, and it's not just one part of your back taking all of the work here. And again, you're flowing with your breath. The inhale causes you to lift and lengthen. The exhale causes you to lower. So everything is really smooth and controlled. Everything working really well together. Waking the body up so that you can have a nice day with your body functioning at its best. Do at least one more breath like this. And when you feel about balanced, like you've done an equal number, turning your head to each side the same number of times, go ahead and come down and rest. Maybe turning your head to one side, maybe resting your hands underneath your forehead again. Taking some good, smooth breaths. And then when you're ready, bring your hands alongside your chest again, but this time we're going to press up to our hands and knees. So you might curl your toes under to help with that. And then come to your tabletop position. Take your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Keep your toes right behind your knees. And then sink your hips back. So your hips might come in between your heels a little bit. And then you can stay up on your elbows if that is most comfortable for you. Or you can start to lower your head down again to rest on your hands. Or if it's possible and comfortable for your body, maybe resting your head all the way down on the ground. Wherever you are, taking some nice, full, slow breath. This is a variation of Balasana or child's pose. It might encourage feelings of grounding or safety, but it might also cause some restriction in the body. You might feel your knees or your hips or your back or your breath all feeling like they're a little bit challenged right now. So whatever you're experiencing, please breathe through it. You might even imagine breathing into tight places to help them open and soften and be more comfortable here. Take at least one more breath. And then we're going to find a slightly more active version of this to warm up towards a bigger pose. So when you're ready, reach your hands out in front of you. And I have a pretty narrow mat that I'm using here. So my hands, I actually like wider than my mat. So my thumbs and my fingers are kind of here. And then my middle and ring and pinky fingers are off the edge. And then curl your toes under so you're on the balls of your feet. And you might need to walk your hands even further forward. And then lower your head down so that your ears are in line with your upper arms. And reach back through your hips. Think about drawing the points of your shoulder blades down towards your ribs. So here on your upper back, kind of the bottom of your shoulder blade is a little point. Think about drawing that kind of down and in. We want plenty of space across the tops of the shoulders. Keep pressing back. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And then when you're ready, stabilize through your hands so that you can start to lift your knees and reach your hips up high in the air. And your knees might stay quite bent. You might want your feet a little closer together, a little further apart, a little further back. And then lower one heel a little bit more and bend the other knee. And then switch. Bend the other knee, lower the opposite heel. Really slow kind of pedaling movement here, alternating from side to side. You might even inhale as you switch and exhale into the stretch. The whole time thinking about staying strong in the shoulders, lengthening up through the tailbone. We want a nice, long, flat back here. And then from here, keep one foot planted. Look up between your hands and bend your opposite knee so that it comes to rest somewhere in between your hands, something like this. And then you might scoot your back knee back a little bit more to go a little bit deeper into this stretch. So this might be a big one first thing in the morning. Hopefully will help your day go a little bit nicer though. So breathe into it. Ever so gently sink down into your hips. Think about that back hip kind of rotating forward and down a little bit. Now you can just stay here. Or if you're feeling good and you feel like you want to take it a little further, you might bend that back knee. Maybe pointing just your toes up towards the ceiling. Or if it feels good, you can reach back with your opposite hand and hold on to that foot. So my left foot is pointing up. I'm reaching back with my right hand. And then taking a few breaths here. This has the bonus of getting a little bit more of a shoulder opener as well as a leg opener. So if you want to, even if you're not holding, you might just kind of reach back as if you could hold just to get this little extra chest and shoulder stretch this morning. When you're ready, let that go. Carefully bring your hands back down. We're going to go all the way back to that downward dog. So tuck your back toes, scoot your back knee forward a little bit, and then slowly press into your hands so you can step the foot back. And breathe here for a moment, lengthening up through the tailbone. And then when you're ready, look forward between the hands. Reach that other knee forward, lower the back knee down, maybe scoot it back a little bit. And then slowly come into stillness. Again, thinking about maybe rotating the back hip kind of forward and down. Hopefully getting a nice opener through the front of that hip. And then when you're ready, maybe bending the back knee. Maybe reaching back. Maybe able to hold on to the foot. When you're ready, gently release. Plant through the hands, tuck that back toe so you can slowly press all the way up and back. One more time, downward facing dog. Couple more breaths here, strong shoulders, actively reaching up through the hips. And when you're ready, lower your knees and then make your way to sit. And again, you might use a little cushion or something underneath your hips just to make sitting a little bit more comfortable. And so take a moment to get comfortable. Maybe you cross your legs. Maybe it's more comfortable for you to sit in more like a kneeling position, or you can even sit in a chair. And take a few moments here just to kind of find your tall posture. Sink down through your hips. Let your shoulders come in line with your hips. It's okay if you need to hold on to your knees a little bit to find that nice tall spine. And find that nice active breath, inhaling, expanding into the ribs. Exhaling, gently drawing in through the navel. Nice tall posture the whole time. Shoulders stay still. And as you breathe here, imagine that with each inhale, you bring in some new, refreshing, revitalizing energy. And as you exhale, you find that energy deep in your body, allowing it to settle inside of you. Inhaling fully into the lungs, drawing in new, fresh morning energy. Exhaling, drawing the navel in, allowing that energy to settle in your body. Continuing to breathe like this for a little while. And without going into planning or really thinking analytically, continue to breathe in this way and start to kind of feel forward into your day. Imagine what kind of day it's going to be for you. Maybe a work day, maybe a rest day. So kind of just thinking generally, what kind of energy do I want to have today? And intentionally breathing that into your body. One more full breath like this. And then let your breath relax a little bit. Maybe give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. And with your next inhale, sweep your arms up. Maybe look up. And as you exhale, lean over towards one side, one hand coming down, other hand reaching over. Inhale to reach up through the center. Exhale to lean over to the other side. Let's do twice more to each side. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, reaching over. And now with your inhale, reach both hands up. And as you exhale, turn to the side, one hand coming down behind you or beside you, one hand resting on your leg. Breathing, opening across the chest, lengthening through the spine, turning the head as far as is comfortable. Breathing into the ribs and into the belly. Other side, when you're ready, inhale, reaching up, lengthen. Exhale over to the other side. Same thing here. Rotating through the body, staying open across the chest and long through the spine. Inhale, reach up to the center. Exhale to rest your hands back on your knees. And just like that cat and cow movement we did earlier, we're going to close our practice with a few spinal movements. So as you inhale, lift up through the heart, roll the shoulders back, lift the chin. Exhale, round the back, lower the chin, shoulders draw forward. And a couple more just like that. Inhale, opening through the front of the body, opening up to a new day. Exhaling, drawing in. Stable, centering yourself. One more full breath like that. Finding that balance between opening and centering. And then inhale to come up to a nice tall spine. Exhale again, centering in yourself, softening your shoulders. If you like, you might rest your hands over your heart space or bring your palms together in front of your heart. Pausing for a few moments here to send a little gratitude to yourself for choosing to begin your day in this way, for choosing to prioritize a healthy and balanced body that will allow you to do what you want to do with your day. And I'd like to thank you for joining me in practice. Very highest and best in me sees and honors the highest and best in you. And we are connected. Thank you and namaste.